Good evening, folks. My name's Craig Durgan. I'm a shoreline property owner here in the county for the past 19 years. And I know some of you out there have had shoreline properties for a lot longer than I have. I consider myself a good steward of my property. I haven't done anything to harm the environment, and I consider these regulations that are being proposed as an affront to my property rights. And I think they go far beyond what Mr. Miller quoted in the law that's needed. That law, if you listen to it, didn't say that we have to have 150-foot buffers. It didn't say that if your house burns down and it's in the buffer, that you cannot rebuild if you can locate that house outside the buffer. It did not have anything in there about regulating what you can do as far as trimming your trees or cutting down any dangerous trees. These are the things that are going to happen. They're going to have total dominion over your property in the first 150 feet from what they call the ordinary high water mark. For most purposes, it's the high tide line, but it has its own definition. I would urge every one of you to get a hold of this draft shoreline management program and read it. It is on the web. Yes, it is. The one that was given to the Planning Commission is on the internet, and you can read it because, just excuse me a minute, the Planning Commission can modify it and make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners, but the Board of County Commissioners is the one that's going to enact it as an ordinance. So the draft that was given to the Planning Commission could very well be the draft that's accepted by the County Board of Commissioners. We don't know. So read that draft. It is on the county website. It's a little hard to get to, so if anybody has questions on how to get to it, and you got our email address, just email us and I'll send you the link. It's a little onerous, it's confusing, but it's important to understand what they're going to do to your property. And if it goes through as written, I don't think any of you are going to be too happy about it. Now, the Planning Commission is doing a lot of hard work. I've gone to just about every one of their meetings. Peter Downey back here is the chairman, and Bill here is vice chairman, and I think somebody said there was another commission member here. And I don't begrudge them the work they've done. They're actually trying to make the draft program a little better. Personally, I think it's still going to be too onerous. It's quite a bit of difference between what we currently have, and we do have a shoreline master program in effect right now. And one of the things about this whole thing is the need. The need, in my personal opinion, has not been demonstrated. They have what they call the Shoreline Characterization and Inventory Report that was the basis document for drafting what they want is the new shoreline management program. Most of that document was really done, it was hired out. The county got $670,000 from the Department of Ecology, the State Department, to do this. And over $500,000 of that was spent on two firms, ESA at Dawson and I think it's Battelle Laboratories. And the way they did this inventory and characterization report is they took aerial photographs, looked at them and said, well, this must be a natural area and this must be shoreline residential. They didn't walk down there and look at it. They don't have really a clue. I don't know if you've ever looked at aerial photographs, but they can be a bit deceiving. And come to light, some of their aerial photographs are a little bit old. Things have changed a bit since those photographs were taken. So this is the science that they quote that they're using. And at the end of that shoreline characterization and inventory report is over 200 so-called quoted science reports. They don't have a printout of those you can read. But let me give you an example of one of the ones that I thought was the most atypical, and that was a study done in North Dakota. called A Study of the Temporary Invertebrates and Temporary Wetlands in the Pothole Regions of North Dakota. This is what they're quoting as science to be used here in Jefferson County to determine what the regulations should be. The closest report that I could tell by reading the titles, since they won't give you the printouts, was a study of the Hoh River back out, over in the west side. That doesn't really apply here to us on this side of Jefferson County. So they talk a lot about science. They have best science and all of these terms that they like to throw around, but quite honestly, there is no science. And even the latest report that Jill Silver handed into the Planning Commission, right in that report, it says that unfortunately there isn't any science. So the problem I have here is they want to take and put a whole bunch of regulations onto me, onto you, onto future property owners, but they don't say why. So far we've heard lots of things. Well, there might be future problems, or the people are coming and they're gonna fill up the shoreline and destroy it all. Well, it hasn't happened yet. I don't see why it would happen again in the future. About half of the shoreline properties have some kind of development done, and about half are totally undeveloped. So if we don't have a problem now, and they do pass, some minimal regulations to ensure there's no future problem, I just don't see this, what they're doing is way, way overboard. It's basically, in my opinion, it's just a land grab. It's a way to get control of your property. And to me, it's going back to the old days in Europe, where we were the serfs, and the lords told us what to do. And the new lords are these government regulators. And I just really think it's bad. Thank you.
Amen.